Okay, add to screen. Boom. So hopefully, let me see. I'm gonna exit out and then come back in to see if I can see myself on the stream. Boom! I see myself. Oh my god, I see myself. We are still waiting on Liz to come, but welcome, 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 welcome to the first mental health maintenance workshop. We're gonna talk about balance today. We're waiting for our guests to get here, but this is the time to go get your pen and your paper, your Molly's, your blunts, your Perkins, whatever it is to get your day that you use to start your day or wind your day down. Go get all of those things while we're waiting. This is just a mix and mingle time. I'll actually put the agenda up on the screen so you can see what we got popping in the motherfucking neighborhood today. So you can see what we got going on in the neighborhood. Again, welcome, welcome, welcome. Get your pens, your papers, your drinks. I'm actually going to go ahead and pop this little handy dandy bottle of what is it? Stella Rosa Black. I know it's a ratchet bitch drink, but I love it. It's so delightful. So that part. But like I said, this is the time for mixing and mingling. If you're in the comments, tell me what you drinking or you not drinking, what you smoking or what you not smoking, what you doing or what you not doing. I'm gonna give you guys some time to really just roll in here, and we can get this party started. So welcome to the motherfucking neighborhood. Welcome to the motherfucking neighborhood. If it's your first time in the neighborhood, buckle up. It's gonna be a fucking interesting ride. It's gonna be an interesting ride, my friends. It's gonna be an interesting ride. But it's going to be a very good event. It's going to be a very nice event. So that part. What's popping, Christy Love? I see you in the comments. What you drinking, smoking, and not doing, drinking or smoking? Okay, hold on. I got a private chat. I got to figure out how to do this. Oh, it's Liz. Let me see what she got going on. Let me see. Oh, okay. How do I'm trying to see how okay, I see you. Okay, for some reason I can't hear you. So give me 2 seconds. I gotta figure this shit out. I wonder if people can hear me. Give me a second. Boom. Okay. Liz.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Welcome. Hey. Welcome everybody. We just letting people enter. We're trying to let people get their bearings, get their grounds, and then we're gonna start the event. We're gonna hold off Liz for maybe, let me see, what time is it? For like 2-3 more minutes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. This is gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited.
Me too. Hey Cosmic. Hey Hasi. Can you see the chat and everything, Liz?
Oh yeah, now I can. Okay.
Yay. Okay, good.
Oh, hello.
Welcome to the motherfucking neighborhood, guys.
Oh, I'm drinking tea. I'm having some tea.
What kind of tea are you drinking?
It's actually called Kapha tea, and it's specific to my body type. It's got clove and cinnamon and ginger, all warm and spicy.
So is it spelled Kava? Is that what it's called? Is that how it's spelled?
It's spelled Kapha.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to look into that. I love tea. I don't drink caffeine because I have anxiety, and so that messes with my anxiety a bit. But I drink all types of herbal teas. Like, I love tea.
Yeah, I drink this sleepy time one. It's really good. I love it.
Yeah, I drink sleepy time as well. My mom put me on sleepy time. My mom actually introduced me to tea. I've been like a tea addict since I was like 6.
Yeah, my mom used to make her tea with cream and sugar all the time. She couldn't drink coffee because it made her nervous and jittery. So she would make her tea with cream and sugar, and I've always loved tea with cream and sugar, even though I'm not supposed to have cream or sugar. And this kind of tea with this blend is specifically really good to reduce like mucus in the body.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll definitely have to look into that. So I think like tea with cream and sugar, that's a hold on, be the one to say make sure that you I love her. But I thought, isn't it when you're in England, like the proper way to drink tea, that's like, don't they drink it with cream?
Yeah, they drink it with cream and like a little square of sugar and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know how she learned it. Like, she's Mexican. I have no idea.
She classy. She knows. She just knows.
She's on one of my past lifetimes.
All right. So what time is it? All right. It's our 5-minute mark. Shout out to you. Thank you again, Cosmic Drugs, for doing the thing that I usually do. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start us off. So welcome to our very first of many mental health maintenance workshops. This is a webinar. This is our agenda for the night. This is what we'll do. Make sure you stick around. It's going to be a great time. Trust me. If you're not here, you're going to be salty you weren't here. All right. So we just did the mix and mingle. I'm gonna do a welcome and give you a little bit of background of just who I am and where I'm from and why we're doing this. And then we're gonna do a mental stretch. That's something that's just, it's one of my signature things. I'm gonna do that with Liz, but I'm going to ask everyone in the comments to participate as well. And then I'm going to do an interview with Liz, and we're going to talk about balance. And then we'll have an open discussion. So save all of your questions. That's why I tell you to bring your pen and paper. Bring your pen and paper, please, people. Bring your pen and paper. So while I'm interviewing Liz, you can write down any questions you have. And then after we finish our interview, if you put those questions in the comments, I'll pick some of your questions, and myself and Liz will answer those. Then we have a special opportunity. So you want to stick around for that. You just don't know what it is. You have to stick around for it. And then we'll have closing remarks. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all the handy dandy welcome. Yo, welcome to the motherfucking neighborhood via mystical illumination. Like, ain't shit changed. We just on a different platform. So there's that. Welcome. I'm so excited about this. I want to first, I got to shout out Guy, because that's who I rep. That's who I walk with or whatever. That's my boy. So that part, I'm going to shout out Guy. But like I say, even in the neighborhood, listen, I don't care what you believe in. You cannot believe in God. You can believe in whatever you want to. But as for me and my house, I serve the Lord. But all are welcome, no matter what you believe in. This is a safe place. The neighborhood is always a safe place for you to come, talk, and seek refuge. So there's that. Then I want to shout out the Peace Dealer. I want to shout out Esco. I definitely got to shout out Liz. I appreciate you so fucking much for doing this with me and for just working with me, my crazy ass, and going for my ideas blindly. I appreciate that. And then I want to shout out everyone on fucking Mystical Illuminations, because that's it. That's how I go. That's how I roll. Like, this is a power team. People don't even know what we're doing or how great we are. But listen, mark our words. We gonna motherfucking change the world. Absolutely. We got the dream team, and I can't thank Mike enough. So that part. So I'm going to give you a quick, just like welcome or background to who I am and why mental health is so important to me. We're going to have several of these pop-up shops, but mental health is important to me because I didn't know anything about it. When I was growing up, I had no fucking clue what mental health was. It just wasn't something that we talked about in my family. Not to say anything about my parents. That's just how they was raised. We talk about, if we're in spirituality and we talk about generational curses, like just from generation to generation to generation, nobody ever really discussed mental health. So it was just like the elephant in the room. It was the thing that nobody ever in life talked about. And because of that, I just kind of went through a lot of things. Like when I was in college, I was like suicidal. I wasn't feeling myself. I didn't think I was beautiful. I didn't think I was pretty. I just didn't feel like I would belong. Even when I was a kid, I just didn't feel like I belonged. And so like so I went to go get help. I went to the doctor. I got like they put me on antidepressants. I had all that shit. But first off, I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever been on any type of antidepressant, because I have, they make you feel like a fucking zombie. Like first off, I'll say that year I had my best grades, but I just generally don't fucking remember that year. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that feeling. So I told myself I would never get on any type of medicine like that ever again. And so I had to kind of find different ways to manage my anxiety. That's the thing. That's the real thing. There are alternative measures to manage your anxiety. So I'm going to try to make a long story short. So fast forward to law school. I met a good friend. Shout out to Chris John. That's my homeboy. Love him to death. He took me to my very first mental health awareness walk. And I'm going to talk to you about the charity that or the nonprofit that it was for Eustace Inc. And that's when my eyes were open to the mental health world. Like my homeboy Rashawn, shout out Rashawn. I'm gonna plug him forever and always, because I think he has a worthy cause. But that's his really quick. His story was he put he tried to kill himself. He said he put a gun to his head that was loaded, pulled the trigger jammed. After that, he was like, okay, I'm meant to be here. I'm supposed to be here. He suffered from bipolar depression. And so he has a wonderful story. You guys make sure you check that out. And that was the first time I actually heard a Black person talk about mental health. I was like, so that's when I learned about Mental Health Awareness Month and all of those things. And so I became engulfed in it, and I wanted to learn about it. And so I did. And as soon as I learned about it, it's like I was called to it. It became my greatest passion because I saw the things that I learned about around me every day. But it was just the thing that nobody talked about. I saw so many people I love struggling with it. I struggle with it. I seen family members struggle with it, but nobody fucking talked about it. Nobody had anything that's like, they just let it be. And I was like, nah, I don't like, I gotta change that. Like if we talk about this, we could be better. We could do better. Life could be better, but somebody has to address the elephant in the room. My sister was literally just telling me, she was like, bitch, you don't know how to not say nothing. And I don't. Once I know what it is, I'm not gonna I'm gonna call it out. And that began my mental health awareness journey. And so I make it now my life's duty to tell people about mental health and the importance of it. Mental health can save your life. Mental health can change your life if you do it properly, if you have the proper support groups. So that's a little bit about my mental health. That's why I'm doing this. So the purpose of this is, shout out to Cito. He explained it in this way. He said that your body is a spiritual vehicle. So if your body is a spiritual vehicle, I look at the brain as the engine. And as you know about cars, if you don't take care of the engine, the fucking car gonna break down. So we need to take care of our engine. So I've created these workshops to give you tips and tricks as to how to take care of your engine, but in real life scenarios. Because we're not giving you that frou-frou if you just believe it's gonna be okay. Nah, sometimes shit ain't gonna be okay. Sometimes you gotta fucking cry that shit out. Sometimes you gotta punch that shit out. Sometimes, but there are healthy ways to do it. So I want to help you notice when you're dealing with something that is a mental health issue, and when you realize that you've done that, or that you're in that, I want to help you manage your way through that. Okay, so that's what this is about. Listen, when you're in the neighborhood, this is we actively fucking participate in our life. Okay, guys. So you need a pen, you need a piece of paper, you need something to write, you need something to take notes. However you take notes, however you learn. This is an active meeting. So whether you watch this today or whether you watch this 100 years from now, right now is the time to go get your motherfucking pen and paper. Take a sip of your wine for the people who already got theirs, who showed up to class prepared, because we're about to have a good time. All right. So Liz, we're about to go into our mental stress. So I'm going to introduce Liz, but I'm going to introduce Liz formally later. And I did shout her out. So formally later, what we're going to do, we're going to get warmed up before we actually get into a discussion with Liz. Okay. So we're going to get everybody comfortable with everybody. And then we're going to take her out to dinner before we ask her questions, before we do too much. All right. So a mental stretch is just a mental warm-up. It's to get your brain thinking, to really make you stretch your brain outside of the realms of the box that you live in. So there is that. Liz just disappeared on me. She was like, fuck this. I know, never.
No, I'm here. I noticed I lost reception, so I'm going to go get closer to the Wi-Fi.
Okay. Got you. Okay. So everybody, this applies to everybody. Okay. So the mental stretch for today is, when I say the word balance, what comes to mind? So to the people that are tuning in, streaming in the comments, what does balance mean to you? And just put it there and I'll come back to it. But Liz, the question is, when I say balance, what does that word mean to you?
Okay, here we go. Balance to me is, let me start the camera. Balance to me is moderation. That's what balance feels like to me.
Okay, so what do you mean? So we're gonna have organic conversation. So what do you mean when you say moderation?
Okay. Well, first I want to preface this by saying that I am a Libra. So
Mm-hmm.
balance is something that is innate to me
Okay.
and my design as a human. And so what I mean is, in my life experience, I've been an extremist on both sides. I've overdone it and then I've walked back. And it just means that you try everything, but it's not to fill yourself with it. In Spanish, we have this saying that's, and I love we say, es probete, no llenete, which means it's to sample, not to gorge on. And I think that like that applies to all of life. Like we're here to sample life, but not to
Ooh,
gorge on life. You know
I
what I
love
mean?
it. It's the sample, not to gorge on. One of my professors used to say, "Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered." So I like that. I really, really, really like that. So that's what balance means to you. That's what. Okay, all right. So I saw. Did you want to add anything else to that? Because I feel like I cut you off.
No, I just, that's pretty much it for me because I really feel like, I have been very gluttonous in my life as far as partaking in it. And now that I've learned to dabble, it's so
Mm.
much fun because my level of satisfaction and content is very, it's small. I mean, I'm quick to be content
Mm.
and satisfied. And so I've learned that tool or skill in life, but I didn't have, I wasn't born with it. I was an addict. I really had an addictive personality that was multi-generational, addiction, like alcoholism. And it took me a long time to understand that it wasn't the alcohol and it wasn't the addiction or that I was an addict. It was what was fueling that. So
Mm.
finding balance in that helped me, understand that dabbling in partaking in the good things in life, that make you feel good is better than gorging on it.
Okay, so I got a follow up question. Like, at what point in your life would you say? And we're still in a mental stretch, but I'm gonna go with it. At what point in life did you say, "Hey, like I'm out of balance"?
Definitely when I hit rock bottom. I used to be a diehard drinker and I blacked out once and ended up at home and I had no recollection of how I got home or, what I was doing. I woke up in my own bed. I was naked. I don't even know how that happened. And then I walked over to my closet and I had used the closet as a restroom. Like I peed on the floor. And I was so disgusted with myself that I stopped drinking. Like I was like, I'm done. Like
You like, damn, I'm out of balance, bad.
really bad. Like who does that? Like what?
Mm.
And I just was like, oh no, this cannot happen. And I just whole turkey just was like, this is not gonna happen. I can't be losing control like this. This is not healthy. This is not fun anymore. It's not
Mm.
joyful. I'm not, you know, this is not where I want to be headed. And so I completely stopped everything because I didn't know what else to do. You know,
Mm.
I just stopped everything because I just was like, okay, well, I don't know where I'm supposed to stop. I'm telling you, I'm an extremist. So I just went extreme, like cut everything out and then walked slowly back. Like, okay, I
Okay,
can do this.
but
I can do
because
that.
really quickly, if I can insert, because when you went extreme and cut everything out, then you were out of balance again, but in another way. If that makes sense.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
To the extreme, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In Ayurveda, there's 3 mental states that your mind can occupy, and you're supposed to be in the middle, like not too pure and not too godly, but not too, um, uh, uh, what's it called? Spoiled or, decomposed is what you could say. Just
All
like
right.
right in the middle, like between both holding space, holding balance through the
Libra
pause.
scale. So really quickly before I go into the comments and just go and kind of talk on some of those things and then give an antidote. You said Ayurveda. For the people who will watch hundreds of years from now, what's that? Explain that to people so they can understand what you're saying.
Ayurveda is the healing science out of India, and it is a holistic science that encompasses healing in the mind, body, and spirit, and it bridges and nourishes the nature between humans and nature, which I think right now is important because I think we've lost our way and connection to nature. So, but yeah.
I absolutely agree. Okay, so I'm going to go to the comments really quickly. I saw someone say balance was equilibrium. I feel like that's giving me, that's like using a word for a definition. That was a synonym, anonym, whatever the word is in a different way. Kobe said not overworking. Cosmic Drug says smoking the joint, not the tree. Why can't I smoke the fucking tree? The tree leaf. I love it. The whole thing. I need the whole damn thing at the same damn time. Like, what do you mean, traffic? I agree with all of those things. I definitely agree with all of those things. And so I kind of give you an antidote with what I think balance is in my perspective into balance. People can be out of balance in so many different places. I like to take people outside of the box that they're in. So you can be out of balance in a relationship. You can be out of balance at work. You can be out of balance with alcohol. You can be out of balance with exercise. You can be out of balance with eating. You can be out of balance with anything. And I feel like being out of balance is giving too much to one side of anything. Everything has at least two sides. Too much, too little, or just enough. So I'll say at least three sides. So you can overthink. You can think entirely too much. You can talk too much. You can talk entirely too much, or you cannot talk enough. You cannot speak up for yourself. You cannot, or so balance needs to be placed everywhere in your life. And I think as per mental health, understanding what balance is and how it really affects our entire life, that's how we keep our mental engine in tune. It's like, okay, so let me assess, let me take a scan of everything in my life. Am I not talking enough? Am I talking too much? Am I thinking too much? Am I not thinking enough? Am I eating too much? Am I not eating enough? What is out of balance? And so that's how you self-check yourself. You just literally look and say, am I doing too much? And you'll know you know when you're doing too much. It feels like too much. Like, listen to your body. Your body will tell you. It's like it's made to tell you that this doesn't feel good or this does feel good. And the problem with mental health is people don't listen to their feelings. They suppress them. It was like, oh, I don't want to feel this thing, so I'm going to act like it's not there. There goes that elephant in the room again. And so you have to be afraid not to point out the elephant in the damn room sometimes. That part. So did you have anything that you wanted to add about balance before we hop into our interview?
I just want to add real quickly to what you were saying, because that's really a great way to self-reflect by asking those questions. And to take it even a step further, you can actually use the foundation of chakra work to do that. Because there are 7 centers that focus on different emotions in your body, and they're actually energy centers, and you can ask those questions in those centers of your entire body. So I just wanted to add that, because that was like really, I love that, the way that you put it, because now I'm gonna start sharing that way too.
I love that. And that's the thing, like we speak, there was there's the idea in the Bible that of speaking in tongues. And so because I know that you have Native American in you as well, I have this, it's actually this deck right here, one of my decks, this little tribal book. It's on one of the cards. It says to be able to speak in tongues is not the shit about a Honda, but it's to be able to enter any room and speak the native language of that room. So speaking to people in a way in which they can understand. Does that make sense?
Or the other way I've heard it is speaking to people in their language so that they'll understand. Because sometimes you could be a kind person, but that person doesn't speak kindness. Or that person speaks anger, and so you have to speak anger with them. Or they speak, like in a condescending manner, so you have to speak in that way. Otherwise, people don't hear you. Remember, we all have selective hearing. We hear what we want to hear, no matter what people are saying. It does not matter. So if you say it in a language that they understand, they're more likely to hear you. Because think about someone who speaks loudly. They're really not going to be paying attention to someone who speaks softly, because that's not their language. It's out of their kind of.
You just made me feel okay. So we're going like we can roll this into the interview, but you just made me realize I was out of balance in a place because listen, and let's kind of go back to the conversation we were having earlier. But like you said, to speak their language, like if someone speaks condescendingly to me, it is not in my nature. I would never speak. It goes back to I'm going to give you love in return. I'm not going to speak condescendingly back to you. So,
well, so here's the balance.
Okay, let's go for it.
Because yes, you can give someone love, but sometimes you're a teacher and you have to teach that person. So you can give love by teaching them. That's another way to love someone. And so that then becomes that's where you have to have discernment. Like, is this person speaking from their pain because they're really in pain, or are they speaking from their pattern of victimhood? Which one is it? Because there is a difference between the two. There's a difference, but it takes discernment to see that, because some people really are in the.
Oh no, she froze. She said she was cutting up too.
Or in pain, yeah. And there's people that understand their pain and know it, and they like it, and they feed off it, and they want everyone else to, be in that place too. So it just, and as you're a projector too, like a human design projector, so you have a lot of feeling, you sense things.
Yeah.
So,
and so I really like that. So I can tell you now, because we were talking before this, and so out of balance, and so just me even as per temperament, like I'm the type of person who won't speak enough, but then I'll get out of balance and go to the extreme. And like if a person being condescending and I've had enough and I didn't speak up enough, then I'm gonna just turn into a monster. I'm gonna just eat your fucking ass up, and then I'm out of balance again.
Yeah. Instead of just being like, oh, that was irritating.
Yeah.
Or I feel like this when you do that, that's the proper way to do it. But whatever, we're all like, that's irritating. Don't do it. Like, I don't know how people walk around thinking people aren't going to irritate you. Like for those of us that are parents, our own children irritate us. It's like, and they, they're our children. Of course, someone, a stranger that you've only met and, been with for a while or a decade or whatever, however long, it takes time. I think it takes time for everything, and especially it takes time to learn to. I think it takes a lot of time to learn to love yourself in a society that's not built to support that.
And the thing is, and you're speaking, but it's like, and the thing is, loving yourself is not it's like enlightenment. It's not an end destination. Like, it's something you constantly do and work on every day. And sometimes you fail at loving your fucking self. You be like, damn, I failed at that shit today. I treated myself horribly, bitch. You owe yourself some good sex and a nice present for the way you treated yourself,
Yes. I'm a big believer in celebrating yourself. Like a big believer. I'm always like celebrating. You've made it this far. Celebrate that shit. Every time I talk to my clients, I'm like, do you celebrate yourself? Oh, well, I'm like, nah. Celebrate yourself and your accomplishments, and that you're here, and that you've made it, and that you are still going. That's huge. It's huge. I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for being here and doing the work, because we're doing the work, no doubt. We're doing it, and we're seeing it, we're a part of it. So
we are it.
we are it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
You know,
so,
it's funny because the other day I was driving down the road and I happened to look to the left and there was this beautiful farm and it had this long driveway that was like this and it went down and up and down and up and it was lined with like trees and I was just like, wow, what a magical road. Like, that's such a beautiful road. Like, just imagine the feeling of driving on that road. And then I just heard, fuck the road, fuck thinking of driving on the road, be the road. And I was like, what? And it's like, yeah, that's it. Just be the road, be that feeling, you know, be that, be that in this world. Yeah.
All right. So I want to go back to something and then we're going to officially start the interview. But I realized just in talking to you, like, that's the thing. Like, you know, we talked about projecting and I'm being projecting. So I'm hearing myself talk. And what I realized is just to show you guys the importance of really standing in your power and being balanced. Imbalance breeds imbalance. Because I was like, let's say, so we go back to the conversation about me letting people talk to me any kind of way. So I'm unbalanced in that I'm not speaking up enough. Because I did not speak up enough, I exploded. Imbalance led to imbalance. If I had, just like you said, Liz, in that moment, if I had just said, you know what, right now you're annoying me and I don't want to talk about this. But my thing is, okay, so another question from that, how I don't ever want to hurt, like to tell somebody they're annoying you, it hurt their feelings. So how you feel about that?
So, well, that's why you don't say you're annoying. You just say, I feel uncomfortable when you do that, so I'm going to step away. Or, you know, I feel this way when you're doing that action or when you say that word or when, you know, so I'm going to, and just remove yourself from the situation. That's your power. You never have to be anywhere you don't want to be.
Thanks.
And your attention is your attention. You have the power to place it wherever you want. You know, you don't have to focus on something if you don't want to. And that's, I mean, that's a very hard thing to do. I understand because, you know, controlling our thoughts and our mind is, you know, it's a life work. But it's totally possible. 100% possible. I know we were talking about earlier how I used to suffer from depression, and that's exactly, and I still suffer from depression, but I'm able to manage my depression because now I have the tools to do so, and I can tell when my pattern of downward spiral starts to kick in. And so, because of the, you know, awareness of thoughts or whatever.
So we're going to come back to that. But quick lesson in discernment. This is a quick lesson in discernment. Liz said, hey, when you get to the point where you're uncomfortable and you're trying to stay balanced and you say, hey, I want to, this is bothering me. And if you're worried about people, a person who really cares about you is going to let you walk away. They're gonna be like, oh, regardless of how harsh the truth is, they'll let you walk away. Anybody who tries to fight you and make you stay and grabs onto you and hooks onto you, that person is probably a toxic person because you weren't under, you weren't over, you were balanced and you interacted with them, but they reacted in an unbalanced way. They wanted some type of control. They wanted something. So that's how to kind of tell that you're kind of dealing with unbalanced people. That's just a quick lesson in discernment. Does that make sense? Did that make sense to you, Liz?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you really have to pay attention to that for sure. Because people try to be subtle about it. It's weird. You know, I was going to say, especially in the spiritual community, but I'm not going to say
that. Especially in the spiritual community. I said it for you. Like that. So Kobe said something that I thought was funny. Oh, I think he said humor needs balance. Listen, don't fuck with my humor and don't fuck with my weed. I don't know. Them always gonna be out of balance. Like, I'm disrespectful as fuck and I need the whole tree. Give me the whole fucking tree. You don't want it? Give me your shit too. I just smoked that shit too.
Well, that's funny because Colby also said that he like was an addict and he got addicted to fitness, and that's exactly what happened to me with yoga and becoming a vegetarian. I just switched my addictions, and it became super unhealthy, like really really unhealthy, and I had to find the balance to it, and it was really hard because I had like really really strict kind of stuff that I had to do. But oh, my dog wants to go outside. But yeah.
Okay. So is this a good time to segue into our interview?
Yeah.
All right. So y'all like, hey, bitch, y'all been talking for 30 minutes. Y'all ain't started yet. No, get comfortable. Get comfortable. All right. So one, this is how we're gonna start. So, and I don't have my stopwatch with me. So I'm gonna do 10 seconds. First, we're gonna start off with 10 seconds. Tell me who you are in 10 seconds. Ready, set, go. 1.
Liz, divine being here for a good time.
Hey, you did it. It took some time. Hey, like that. Just like that. Okay. All right. So you said you are a divine being. What is that? What does that mean to you?
It is someone who is accepting and unconditionally loving of all and to all.
All right. So a question. We're going down a rabbit hole. You said unconditionally loving. What's unconditional love to you?
Unconditional love to me means accepting the humanness in the other person or yourself.
So in reference to balance, how do you balance that? If that question makes sense.
Okay. So this is something that I love to talk about. This goes back to the chakras and when they start. The first chakra that we actually begin with is the root chakra, and it's actually at the coccyx, right? Okay. So it's right between our anus and our vulva. Okay. I like to say that we start out as assholes, and we're working our way.
I got stuck.
Enlightenment. I got stuck. We all get stuck. And I mean, I'm still stuck sometimes. Like I still, and I tell people all the time, like, I'm an asshole. Maybe not to you because you haven't triggered that part of me, but I am. Make no mistake. And if you don't know, then great. You're a good person too. You went out of there too. But I think we all have our moments. I think like, we all have that primitive aspect, where we're like in survival mode and we just, whatever we're thinking in our head just gets to us, and you just do the best you can while you're in that mind state. But I think we all have it. And I think like, that's why we shouldn't put anyone on a pedestal, or I don't think we should worship anyone or anything like that, because we're all human and we're all doing the best we can. And we're just sharing our life experience with one another, just so that we can, get each other home. Ram Dass, there's a beautiful author named Ram Dass, Guru Ram Dass, and he says, we're all just walking each other home. And I love that quote because I really feel that. Like, we're all just walking each other home. So we're all going to the same place.
It depends on what you believe in. Some people are not going to the same place. It depends on who you're talking about. Spiritual community. Hashtag spiritual community. But okay.
Yeah, exactly. It really is. I think it really does depend on that. And it really is a lot about self-acceptance and self-love. Like, the more that you can accept yourself as who you are and that you are human and that you're here to make mistakes because that's how you learn and grow, the more you are open to making them, and the more you'll look at them as opportunities for growth, as opposed to looking at it as ways that you are unworthy or unwanted or unloved or whatever the case is, whatever programming is there for you.
Mm. So I want to go back to something we talked about earlier today, and Cosmic just said it. She said, yes, we're all just trying to make it through the day. So earlier we were talking about what making it through the day look like. Like when you say, you know, I'm doing my, everybody's just doing their best. Listen, let's get rid of what you think. Not I'm doing my best, not what the fuck you think my best is or your best. You know what I'm saying? So what best looks different. And I really wanted to share that with people because I think we need to, again, I'm taking you out of that box of what you think best should look like. I was telling you, like, best is me not stabbing you. Best is me punching a wall. Best is me just cursing you out. You know what I'm saying? Best is me just throwing some hot ass coffee on you and not running you over with the car. Sometimes that's the best. Doesn't make it okay. You out of balance. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes that's your very best.
Well, that's that humanness in you.
Yes.
You see, that's that primitive human emotion, raw, you know, and I don't think we should be punished for that. I just think we need to learn to understand it so we can move through it. And I think what happens is a lot of us we would get punished for being angry. You know, like I grew up in a Mexican home where, like, you know, I was always told, like, you better change your face. Like, if you're angry or upset, or you better change your face or I'll change it for you. Like, that's just programming that you're gonna. Yeah, that's just programming. That's a people pleaser. Like, oh, okay. You know, so you start working out of all of these programmings that you learned because it's culture. A lot of it is cultural.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it is cultural, you know. Like I homeschool my kids for a reason. Like I don't want them. I mean, like I really don't even want them to be all into culture either because it's an identity. Any identity that you like take on is putting you in a box.
Ooh. So I got a thought to that. All right. So because it's interesting because I'm from the South. I'm from a Southern girl. So I love my culture, but I think that I'm a little bit every culture, if that makes sense. I don't just subscribe to one culture. I take things from everybody I meet, and I'm that. So do you think culture? So I feel like you're saying culture is a prison. Is that what you're saying? I'm being messy right now. What are you saying? Like, explain. Let's talk about it.
I think your identity is a prison.
Oh, like fuck it. I'm gonna get deep on you, bitch.
I think anything that we try to take on as identifying ourselves is a prison because we are so beyond the mind and the body. We are this huge spirit. You know, there's this awesome TED Talk that was done by Jill Bolte Taylor. And she's a neurosurgeon who was studying the brain because her brother is schizophrenic. And she happened to have a stroke. And she was able to study her brain as a neurosurgeon while she was going through the stroke. And one of the things she talks about in her TED Talk is the feeling that she had of being very big and expansive, right? And then having to shrink into this little body. And that's exactly what it is. If we just understood the vastness of what that was, we would laugh at our human. You laugh at how much attention is paid to the human body. It is a vehicle. That's it. Just imagine this. Imagine that we all were looking at Fords and Toyotas and Mercedes and like, oh, that one is too fat. That one is too skinny. Oh, look at that one with braids. And look at that one with, you know, like, look at she's short. And she's got, you know, like, she looks like an Indian or whatever. You know, whatever people want to say. I don't know. I would say people are dumb, but whatever. But that's what I'm saying. Like, our body is a vehicle. That's it. We're not, you know, when I teach my yoga class in the forest, I'm like, I want you to take a look around at these trees. And now I want you to start to judge them. I want you to pick out which one's a fat tree, which one's the skinny tree, which one's the pretty one, which one's the popular one, which one. Like, can you tell? No. Why would you even judge trees like that? Like, just pretend we're all trees and you wouldn't even bother to judge. You would just accept, like, yeah, we're all here. And we're all good.
So
And we're
one of my things that I one of the things that I do to go back to get balance. Like if you know me, if you really know me, my sister and one of my good friends is here. Like they know me. When I'm out of balance, I always say, if Leanne go missing, you can find her in the woods. I'm always in the woods, and I'm in the woods, country, barefoot, in the woods, walking, hiking, doing something, because nature always reminds us of what's important. The tree did not stop growing because you stopped looking at that bitch. It don't give a fuck. It didn't bloom because you came, and it didn't die because you came. Trees don't give a fuck about you. The animals outside don't give a fuck about you. Nothing gives, and they not competing. They just living. They're staying true to their nature. So every time I go outside, just to kind of reinforce what you said, it's just like you're absolutely right. Like nature is a reminder to just, you're so much bigger than this vessel.
And I actually prescribe people weekends, like camping, that they spend a weekend camping to reset their system, because there's nothing better to reset your system than being out under like trees, the sky, the night, open air. It will reset. Like people who have insomnia and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, go camping. You're gonna be reset. Your body knows. Your body talks to your environment. I mean, that's science, like that's real talk. I lived in the forest.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I just lived in the national forest for 3 years, and it was like the best experience ever, just to be able to be in the forest. And you're right, like the animals don't care. They're gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna come in on your land and they're gonna eat your food, and they don't care. They're not worried about it, like they're like, you're in our land. You're on our land. Remember that.
Right. Like, we let you come here. I bet you felt like a new person. I couldn't listen. If I could live in the woods for 3 years, oh my God. Like people would hate me. My family always crack jokes on me because they already think I'm hippy dippy. I would come out thinking I'm like Mother Tree, bitch. Call me Big Willow for the rest of my life. Like Mother Willow now from now on,
Yeah, it's really an experience, and I think it's humbling because you're surrounded by so much beauty and like this huge, it's huge. You feel so tiny next to these trees. You're just like, fascinating. I don't know. I absolutely love being in the forest. I felt like a fairy, and I'm not into fairies or anything whimsical like that, but that's the vibe I got. Like, yeah, this is cool. Totally. And I think it's important, like, if you really are trying to balance and you live in the city, I mean, you obviously need to get into nature. You have to. There's no way. And once because I went from the forest back into the city, and you can feel the energy immediately. Like when I moved back, I was like, oh yeah, there's such a difference. Just energetically, there's such a difference. So I think it's important. Balance has to be in all aspects of your life, and a lot of that, I think a lot of balance can be found if you start to create a routine. Ayurveda speaks of a daily routine that you're supposed to do every single day as part of self-care, because I think that plays a big part in it too. Being able to take care of yourself preps you, for I would say for battle. For entering the world,
Battle.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Right now we are. I mean, it's intense out there, and it's really, really intense. So you have to do whatever you need to arm yourself with all of the tools that you have, to the best of your ability. For those of us, like I'm a Reiki master, I'm always, protecting myself with Reiki, or, putting myself in a golden bubble, or sometimes I'll run my Merkaba, I'll do the Merkaba meditation for cleansing, especially during times like these, because you just never know. You just never know who. That's the discernment right now, like, is intense, but the veil, even though it's lifting, it's still holding on. So
So two things. One, everybody, put in the comments something you do to rebalance your life, and then a statement, and then I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. So, or you can respond to what I'm saying. But let me tell you something. So I go to this massage place in Charlotte. So that's a part of my balance. And the name of the massage place is Balance by Touch. And so my masseuse, he's the owner. His name is Garo. He is a Reiki master. So he does Reiki on me. So I'm going to kind of like shout out Reiki really quickly. So let me tell you how, if you never had Reiki, you don't know how it works, let a real bitch tell you, because it's going to fuck you up. And he, like, I love him. I've been going through him. So he's seen my journey. So he's been watching me since I first moved to Charlotte. So he's seen me in law school. He's seen me as a fat girl. He's seen me when I was a struggling student, and he sees me now. And so like, we have that relationship. I've known him for almost 10 years. So first time him ever doing Reiki on me was last year. So I'm thinking, you know, when I get this Reiki, everything, you know, it's going to be cool. If I'm going to feel something, I'm going to feel it like immediately. Nah, that shit don't work like that. It don't work like that. I wish it did. It's not like a superpower. Like, I'll say, and I told him, and when I told him this, he started laughing because I thought something was wrong. I thought the Reiki was broke. I was like, it didn't work. Something was wrong. Nah, he was like, that's what's supposed to happen. Like, I say like 4 months later, I just broke down in tears. I mean, hard out tears. I was just snotty crying. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then and it would just be, I would be at work and it would just be things. It would be me releasing that unbalance of holding things in for way too long. And so I go to him and I'm like, I'm like, Garo, bro, like I've been fucking crying. He was like, damn, it took that long. He was like, you backed up. We got to do some more work on you. I was like, ah. And he did. And I felt like I was good when like maybe after he gave me like the Reiki session, either I didn't need to cry because I was back in balance, or I cried like that next week. So I was like, look, I'm not backed up no more. I'm good. We don't need this. But it really is. It's a real thing, and people. And my sister, she's on here. Shout out to my big sister. Shout out to my big sister. But she's a Sagittarius. She's a Sagittarius sun. I think she's a Scorpio moon, and she's a Leo rising. It's very interesting. But I was telling her that she should try Reiki. So I'm trying to get her a Reiki master. So Liz, I might have to plug you with my sister before today is over, because I want her to try it. I think it'll be good for her. So do you have anything on that? If not, I have some follow-up questions for you.
Well, I absolutely love Reiki. I think you're right. It does change your entire life. But what I really love about Reiki is that it is self-empowering. It really just empowers whoever is getting Reiki done, you know, because one of the biggest things that people experience while they're on the table is the ability to relax. And what a lot of people don't understand is that you need to be in a relaxed state in order to heal. We cannot heal when we are in the fight or flight state of mind. And, you know, just knowing that little thing, I think is amazing. I think it's amazing that you're getting massages with Reiki. That's fantastic. I thought about it, but I just don't like to touch other people. So that's why I never did it.
Yeah,
I love to get massages. That's what's weird is I love to get massages too. Like I'll go and I'll get massages, but I just don't want to give them.
Understandable. That's understandable. But I think it's one of my, because I did suffer with, you know, self-esteem issues and things like that. Like, I just think my self-care is my gym, my coach, one of my coaches from the gym is actually in the live. But like, one of my things that I make sure I do is at least once a month, I do a self-care routine. Like, I don't care how much money I do or don't have. I go get my nails done, I go get my feet done, and I go get a massage, because I fucking deserve that, because I made it to this day to be able to do that. I don't give a fuck who got a problem with it. And that's my balance. That's my self-care. If I can't always get to the forest like I want to. I can't always do that, but I can always take care of myself. And I love, and I think it's important, especially with your masseuse, because so I told you I'm a recovering helpaholic and I'm a recovering massageaholic. So I've probably had massages from everybody in Charlotte, but this place, it's called Balance by Touch. I'm drawn to the energy of it. It is really a healing place, and everybody there wants to heal you. And I think that's important in balance. Like if we're talking balance and wholeness of life, like you have to have a balance of people like that in your life. Like I can't do too commercial. I can't do anything like that. I have to have wholesome people that no matter what masseuse I go to, that I know that they're laying healing hands on me, because that's what I'm there for. I'm there to restore my mind, and the people there understand that. So all of the energy and all of the intention, because people that touch you, they give you their energy. I'm super, like, you have to, and we talked about this. We talked about knowing yourself. So in a part of knowing myself, I know that I'm empathic. I know that I'm sensitive to people's energy. I know that, like, I'll take on your energy. So if you got bad energy, don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking touch me. I let a hobo with happy energy touch me before I let a rich person with nasty ass energy touch me. Don't. So all of those come with balance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I just keep thinking about the whole red flag thing. Are we ever going to talk about that?
Oh, yeah. Let's go to it, because I was going to ask you. So my next question was going to be, so how did you get into spirituality? But fuck all that shit. So how do we start that conversation? Let's just jump into it. But
I don't remember how we started the conversation, but basically what we were talking about was how we were talking about mental health and how people are so big to say, well, if that person isn't treating you right, or if that person is then you need to leave them. And I'm a big believer that people who have mental health issues need love too, if not more so than anybody else.
More so, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer in that too. I'm not going to be the one to tell you to leave someone who blah, 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 because obviously, number one, that's a reflection of what you're.
Liz keep freezing on me. I know she's gonna come back. I'm counting. I'm rooting for her. All right, y'all. Let me ping her and tell her she froze. I'm salty. I'm real salty about that, y'all. Y'all know when the shit get good, it gotta cut out. It gotta cut out. So while she comes back, hold on. I feel like she about to come back on us. How's she come back? Okay, we're gonna wait till she come back. So while she's coming back, guys, I'm gonna see if I can go up to see some of the things that you guys said that you do for relaxation. If I can get my computer to work, it don't look like it want to work though. She coming back. I see her now. How y'all doing? I hope y'all enjoying this. I hope y'all having a good time. All right, I gotta add her to the stream. There we go. Big, like you never left.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Of course, it would have. Well, at least it's almost towards the end, right?
Right.
We almost all the way. So yes, we were talking about how people with mental health issues need to be loved too. Mm-hmm. And I pointed out how people who love to write those trigger flags, these are the red flags to be looking for. Looking for a red flag is a red flag in and of itself.
Yes, that's what. Yeah. Because I was saying I went on my little tangent about like how girls make the memes like, woman, if he not doing this, and this, or if he is doing this, and this, then you need to leave him. And you went on to say like, bitch, if you if you looking for that shit, you the broke one, bitch. You the one with the red flag, and that's how we got to red. If you looking for red flags, you got them.
You are the red flag. If you're looking for red flags, you are the red flag. There's no question. You're looking for problems already to begin with. Like, that's what I mean about how people, like, that's what I mean about humanness. Like, yes, we all have an experience that has brought us up until this point. And it's all about just understanding that experience, your own experience first, and then you can understand and accept everyone else's. But if you don't want to accept your own, it makes it really hard. And that's a balance in and of itself as well. You know, that's a hard one.
And I feel like you said, it is imbalance. I'm not okay with myself. Like, that goes back to that imbalance breeds imbalance. Like, I'm not okay with myself, so I'm going to pick out, all the things that I'm not okay with you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's like you're looking for the flaws. Why would you be looking for the flaws? That's the first thing you're going to do.
Right. Know? Right. And you're trying to be with this person forever, and the first thing you do is look for something they did wrong.
Yeah. Instead of being like, okay, I understand we all have flaws, no problem. But let me see where your beauty lies. It's just a different experience, you know, it's a different perspective. Like, I want to see the flaws as opposed to I want to see, you know, the beauty in this. And I think one of the things I always remember is there's a type of artwork that I think in Japan where they put together broken pieces with gold.
Yes.
And I absolutely love that, you know? It's a beautiful, beautiful explanation of life, because you will be broken over and over and over, you know? Our heart is a muscle, and either we break it or we use it with love to make it grow and get stronger, or, you know, it gets stronger by breaking. You have a choice. You always have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And
go ahead.
And I broke my heart, my own heart, all of my youth and my 20s. And I decided, like, you know what, I'm going to just try to love. Like, why don't I just flex that part instead of, you know, trying to break it? Let me just flex the love and see if I can strengthen it that way. And that just turned out a lot less painless. I mean, I had to deal with all my shit, but it was worth it.
And you know, maybe not so popular opinion, but I really feel like we're the only people that can break our hearts. Like, when we say, like, I think to even the statement to say you broke my heart is imbalance.
Correct, because you are in control of your emotions.
That's it.
They're your emotions. No one controls how you feel unless you give them the permission, because whatever they're saying you think is right or true or factual, or, you know, because you value that opinion.
Yep.
That's, you know, and when you really tune in and accept yourself, and you tune in with yourself, and you find your center and your balance, you don't care what other people think, because you're standing in your truth and your authenticity. And so you begin to understand that it's a reflection of others and how they see themselves. And then that leads to compassion, because then you're like, wow, that's sad that they see themselves like that, because I wish they could see themselves like how I see them, like just beautiful entity, you know, divine expression. And yeah, like I love it. I think everybody is a divine expression, like, no matter what it is, you know. I think it's great all the way around.
I think, like, people don't want to accept the truth about themselves. Like, people, like, we talked about this again. Like, people like to live in a delusion, which is imbalance. They like to live in a delusion, because to look at myself and accept my faults and my own flaws, like, that would be me admitting something, that I'm not perfect. And everybody wants to be perfect. I don't ever want to be perfect, because I don't want them type of expectations on my head. I don't got time for that shit. I'm not. I try to be, like, if we go back, I try to be the very best human that I can be. But some days I might slip up and say, bitch, you the dumbest hoe I ever met in my life. It be like that sometimes. Like, I tried though. Like, at least that's the worst you got from me. I didn't kill anyone. I didn't do anything. And I think that's something that people don't do. I think that they like, it's that drunk on perfection, drunk on what we project to the world, drunk on that imbalance. And
drunk
like,
on illusion.
Yeah,
I think big time. It's a big time, you know. But that's what we've been taught. You know, it's a programming. It's something that you've been shown your entire life from birth. So it only makes sense that you would want to follow the narrative, you know, that has been shown even though everybody here is a rebel, I'm sure we have followed the rules to a certain extent until we stopped, you know?
So what was that for you in your journey? What was that stopping point for you?
Oh man, my stopping point was actually an accident. I was working at a fashion textile place, and I fell at work, and I ended up with a herniated disc in my lumbar and my lower back. It's protruding 4 millimeters, and it completely forced me to start, you know, looking at my body. Like, I never really thought of anything, you know, I never thought of keeping my body fit or anything like that. You know, I didn't think about healing or health or none of that. I didn't know any of that. And I fell in 2006, and by 2008, I was managing a yoga studio through, of course, the magic of God. And I took my first yoga class, and I was able to sleep all night that night, and I woke up pain-free from my herniation, which I had had for 2 years and never had any kind of relief other than medication and pills and alcohol at that time. And I was hooked. I wanted to do yoga all the time because my back felt so great. I just wanted to do, that was it. That was it for me. And that's how I started with yoga, and then I started with Ayurveda. And my Reiki master teacher used to teach at that yoga studio, and that's how I learned Reiki, because she would hold healing circles there. And I think like a week before she gave me a flyer to her healing circle, I was drawing the first symbol of Reiki without even knowing. And she gave me a flyer, and, you know, I got initiated, and it was great. I loved it, you know, and I continued. And I've been on this path since then. I really have to keep doing yoga and eating healthy to keep my back from, you know, falling apart and giving out on me. I have to be mindful that I don't get any inflammation. I have to be mindful to always be stretching. I have to be mindful not to gain any weight, because gaining weight puts extra pain on the herniation. So, and then another thing that, you know, this is like a unseen illness. If you saw me, you wouldn't think there was anything wrong with me. You know, I mean, obviously I'm nuts in my mind, but other than that, like, you know, I don't limp because I was able to take care of this so early on, and I was able to heal it on its own. And I've had 3 natural births, you know, I haven't,
like, random side note, how is that? My best friend, she's getting ready to have her first baby, and she's going to have a natural birth. How was that?
I'm going to tell you, after I gave birth, oh my, just the level of like feelings that you get. I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember this, but there used to be a poster and a movie called The 50-Foot Woman, where she was like this 50-foot woman and just dominated the city and like was like, you know, and that's exactly how I felt post birth. Okay. Like this, like just like that feeling I was telling you, but just like this massive feeling, like just this amount of power. It was so empowering. But I honestly, when I was going through it, I wanted to have a C-section because I was like, I can't take this. But I got to the hospital too late. I was already past 7 centimeters, so they couldn't do anything, much less give me I was begging for an epidural. They couldn't give me an epidural. They couldn't do they wouldn't do any of that. They were like, no, you got this. This baby's coming. And I was like, okay. And I had a doula, which is like a birthing coach. And she was like, you got this. And I was like, I do got this. My first one, I did get an epidural, and I want to say it took me longer to heal afterwards with an epidural than it did naturally. Naturally, I think I was like great and good to go, you know, like within a few hours. I want to say like within 6 hours, I felt like I was back to normal.
Oh,
but
wow.
I practiced yoga all of my pregnancies. Okay. That is something I did because I was conscious of, I did not want my back to go out. You know, I just didn't want my back to go out. So I kept strengthening my back, and I would practice squatting and I bought one of those big birthing balls, and I would, jump on it and move my hips, and yeah. With 3 kids naturally with a herniated disc, and no surgery, and still up and walking and normal, and yeah, that's, when I got my diagnosis, the doctor was like 75% of people walk around with a herniated disc and they don't even know it, and they're like always in pain. And I honestly can tell you, I don't have pain. I don't feel pain in my back unless I overdo it or I skip yoga or, I'm eating bad. Then I can feel it. Yeah.
Okay. So you're forced to stay in balance. Okay. So I'm about to wrap up this interview so we can do the plot twist and do our closing remarks. But so with that being said, anything that you want to say about balance, anything that any advice that you would give anybody about balance and mental health, go.
Yes, balance. Your feelings are 100% valid. Anything you feel is totally valid and okay to feel. Just don't stay there and dwell there. So the balance is learning how to feel the feeling and then walking back towards feeling good about yourself. It takes a while, and it does take reprogramming. Affirmations work and mantra works. That's what I found, in breath work. And just remember, any person that you come across is doing the best they can. There is nobody that has it 100% together. So don't beat yourself up about it. We're all doing the best we can in the situation that we're in, and celebrate yourself, honestly, celebrate yourself, because I can probably bet that there's an imbalance of celebration in your own life from the time you were born. You have not celebrated yourself enough. So I challenge you to celebrate yourself every single day for the rest of the month.
Y'all hear that, right? She said, challenge yourself. Message home. That's a message. How many times when's the last time you celebrated yourself? And really quickly, you said something, and I just, for all of the people because I feel like a lot of people who aren't in the spiritual community may be watching this or may watch this in the future. You said reprogramming. What's that? I know what it is, but what's reprogramming to you? Liz computer always give me the handy dandy blues. All right, guys, while she is frozen, y'all make sure y'all are on the lookout for the next pop-up shop. It will be body. You gotta look for whenever we just start randomly flash spamming. Be on the lookout. There are 4 of these events this month. So we got body, we got balance down. So body is up next. I'm looking forward to body. We got a great guest that will come in and be my guest for that. I can't wait to interview them. I want to take a moment to shout out Mike the Peasilla. Shout out Mike. We appreciate you. You put together a real dream team. Shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody that showed up for themselves and not just me. That part. So Liz is back once again. Okay, so we were talking about reprogramming.
My bad. Service is terrible here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, reprogramming. The way that I use reprogramming is with affirmations.
Okay.
And I do them at night.
So wait, what is reprogramming? What does that mean? Because I want to prep the minds of the people who don't even who aren't in the spiritual community. And if you say reprogramming, they're gonna think you're talking about a remote.
Oh. Okay, so reprogramming is retraining yourself to have your own thoughts and beliefs, as opposed to the thoughts and beliefs that you were taught as a child. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. I feel like I had a follow-up question. It's and maybe not a follow-up question, but just I guess the thought just the thought okay, I don't, just because you're taught you can choose who you want to be. I guess that's what I can say. That's how I can say it. You can choose who you want to be. So we reprogram when what we're taught is no longer in line with how we really feel on the inside. Like you can reach,
Yes.
yeah. Like you can retrain yourself. You can say I called it unbecoming. I unbecame all of the things that people told me I had to be. I unbecame the things they told me I had to speak, the way I had to speak, the way I had to dress. I unbecame all of those things, and I became what felt good to me. That goes into being in line with your body, that root chakra, understanding who you are. That's the beginning of balance. And so, like, it's just understanding reprogramming is teaching your brain to get into balance with who you are, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It's like an onion. You know, an onion on the outside, it has many, many layers. And as you begin to take off the layers, it gets smaller until you get to that center. Well, that's it. You are that center. And those layers have to come off to get to that center of who you really are, you know? And it's also, for example, I'll use my alcoholism. So before, I used to always identify as an alcoholic. So when I stopped drinking, I had to think new ways to identify myself and to present myself to other people. And so that's basically what it is. It's that you are now, you know, growing into something new is the best way that I can explain it. Yeah, you're growing into something new. And it's intentionally driven because it's filled with your purpose, whatever your purpose is, not like you know, we all have a specific purpose, and I think our purpose is really just growth. I don't think there's any more purpose beyond just growth, you know, and growing and evolving. And I think once if you're doing that every day, you're a success. I mean, I don't, you know, that's just me though. I don't know, that's just me, but yeah. And it does take a level of reprogramming because your brain is based on habitualness and routine. And that's why in Ayurveda, we have a self-care routine because that sets you up for a foundation so that you're you know that you are taking care of yourself, so that you are out there armed to the fullest, you know, and able to handle. Because I used to be the kind of person that would wake up 30 minutes before I had to leave the house and like run out all disheveled and a mess, and you know, and that I was always frazzled. I was always on the edge. I was always, you know, ready to burst. So when I started to actually do self-care and practice a daily routine that I woke up specifically to do, I had time to give back to myself. I felt more balanced. I felt more relaxed. I felt capable.
You feel in control. Like for me, it's going to the gym. So I'm gonna ask you a follow-up question, but I'm gonna say something after I ask it. So be thinking about this, but just give us an example of an Ayurveda routine that you came up with, just so people know, because sometimes people need ideas of what that looks like. So, but that, like for me, it was like I took my life back when I started going to the gym. That's my time for me. Like when I'm in the gym, like everybody in the gym know, like I'm gonna speak to everybody, but when I put them headphones in, I'm in my own zone. I'm giving back to myself. I'm giving back to my body, and that sets the tone for my whole day because I took charge of my day. I was in control of my day. I said I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna feel good, and then now I know after this I'm gonna do this. After this I'm gonna do this. After this I'm gonna do this. And when I hit those marks, it's just like little gold stars to myself. But in staying in balance, some days I don't go to the gym. I'm not out of balance, but sometimes it's okay to switch up that routine because anything in excess is poison. Does that make sense? Do you agree with that or not? Maybe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Doesn't matter what it is. Even it could be the most healthiest thing. It's in excess. It is definitely poison. We're not meant to be you know, not all pure and all trash or junk or whatever. It's, you know, it's a medium. We're here. We're here for pleasure.
Yes. If it don't feel good, why the fuck you doing it? Like, that's the real question though, because do we do things that don't feel good? Questions. That's a deep question.
I'm sure people do it all the time. I did it for decades.
And why? You don't, and the thing is, you don't have to, like, plot twist. We don't have to. Like, you can only do the things that feel good.
I'm be real honest and say I just did not love and accept myself. Right. I just didn't. I did not love and accept myself, and I wanted someone else to love and accept me, and it just never worked that way, you know, until I actually loved and accepted myself. And so I'm going to say the one thing that I really suggest everyone do, according to Ayurveda, is what we call Abhyanga. And it is a self-massage, an all-over body massage from crown to feet with warm medicated oil. Ooh. When I started this practice, I actually, through this practice, learned to accept my body and love it. Yeah. Because I didn't, you know, I've always had a woman's figure since the time I was 15 years old. And I did not like my body. I always felt like it was humongous. And when I started to do this practice, I didn't realize what was going to happen. But I started to really notice my body. I would massage it. Like after the shower, I would just throw on some sesame oil with some essential oils, and I started to actually dialogue, and I would be like, oh, you know what? I love you. And I love you. And I love you. And I love you, me. And I love you, Thigh, Thunder Thigh.
Yes.
And I love my tiger stripes.
Yes.
And I learned to love my body. So I always recommend a warm, medicated oil massage from crown to foot once a week. If that's all you can do, you know, it is worth it. It's so beneficial to your body and your mind and your soul to just do that. Healing touch is the, you know, best way to heal.
Yeah.
Touch is the best way to heal. So imagine, just start healing yourself. We are our own powerful healers. We do not need anyone outside of us, you know. We need them in the beginning to guide us and to teach and to show us the way. But when we begin to be empowered in our own self and our own confidence and our authenticity, you know, and with that divine essence, it's a magical thing, man. You start to light up, and you start to attract all the people. It's like the bat signal, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like you're casting.
This bitch love herself. Let's be friends.
Weirdos, enter here, baby. Yeah. Weird. If you're not a weirdo, do not apply.
Right. I only want to fuck with weirdos. Where they weirdos at? I absolutely agree. Yeah. And I'll tell you this: once you really, really love yourself, because like you said, like it's not easy. It's an everyday practice, but like it's a power nobody can take from you. Like when you take your power back from a motherfucker, like when you really take it back, nobody can take it from you, and you feel empowered, and you could do, like, you feel like you really could do. You feel like you could do anything in a motherfucking world. But
and you also feel like you don't have to do anything in the world too.
Right, at the same time.
At the same time, it's like I could, but I don't have to. If I don't want to.
Balance.
Yeah. Seriously.
You get to choose. You get to choose. When you're balanced, you get to choose. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you're not in balance, either you're out of control or somebody else is controlling you. But when you're in balance, you control, you know?
For sure.
All right. So thank you so much, Liz. So what we're going to do is we're going to give somebody an opportunity. I'm going to tell you what an opportunity is. One of my good friends, D. Rankin, he used to always ask kids. I used to teach at, I used to counsel at the police department here in Charlotte. And he used to always ask kids if they wanted an opportunity. What he would do is he would hold up a $5 bill. And he said, if you want this money, all you got to do is come get it. And the kids will be sitting there looking at him like, what? And he said, here's an opportunity. If you want this money, just come get it. And the kid that was smart enough to literally just get up and go take the money out of his hand was the kid who got the opportunity. So I look at everything at life like that. Like everything to me is an opportunity, and I'm going to treat it as such. I'm always going to get up and go get it. In the neighborhood, shout out to the neighborhood, shout out to the motherfucking neighborhood. If you haven't already subscribed to the motherfucking neighborhood, you should. It's like a confessional. Make sure you check out Mystical Illuminations. Make sure you check out Liz the Energy. Check out all our YouTube. Subscribe to us. But back to what I was saying. So I think everything is an opportunity. So I want to give somebody an opportunity. All right, so I know we are a bit delayed, but if you could tell me what the cheat code is, it's going to be a spiritual opportunity. So if you could tell me what the cheat code is for this week, we're going to give you our opportunity. If you watch my videos, you know what the cheat code is. If you watch us on Mystical Illuminations, you know what the cheat code is. And I'm looking to see who pop up first. Nobody want an opportunity. I ain't gonna, and listen, opportunities don't wait for you. So if you wait too long, the opportunity will pass you by. Where my stream at? All right. When this thing gets to 28 minutes, opportunity will be off the table. You don't want to just sit awkwardly in silence again. So y'all make sure, y'all be on the lookout for our next pop-up shop is Body. You got to be on the lookout. You got to be on the lookout. If you enjoyed this tonight, nothing is ever the same. So my interview with the next person won't be the same as this one. So you don't want to miss this one. Make sure that you are tuned in. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. All of that good stuff. Make sure you follow all of our individual websites and channels. Really quickly, while I'm still waiting on you guys, Eustress Inc., that is my mental health charity of choice. They are having a mental health awareness walk this week and a mental health awareness gala. You guys can log on to eustress.org, and they're virtual, so you can log on and sign up for it. You can line on. I'm laughing at you guys' answers. None of you got it so far, so nobody's gonna get this opportunity. But now you know, whenever you come to any of these shows, you get opportunities, but opportunities wait for no one. So next week you might get the opportunity, or next pop-up shop you might get the opportunity, but you got to come prepared. You got to watch these videos. I might ask you something about Liz's video. I might ask you something about the person who I'm interviewing video. So if you're not tuned into our channel, you'll miss the opportunity. You don't want to miss opportunities, do you? You don't. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But Eustress Inc., if you want to be if you want to go to a virtual gala, it's a great cause. It's all about mental health awareness. You're going to hear my great friend's story. He has no clue I'm plugging him, but I just love what he does. So make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you guys check that out. And with that being said, the opportunity is now off the table. It be like that sometimes. Guys. Slow and Steady was the opportunity for, I think, 2 weeks ago. The cheat code for this week was lean into it. So today is a new moon. So if y'all haven't done y'all new moon rituals, it's a great new moon to motherfucking, it's a new moon in Taurus to write your intentions down. Make sure you write your intentions down. What do you want to create? And make sure you create it from a balanced place. We use new moons to create intention. So if we want to reprogram our brains, if we want to reprogram our life, so today is a great day to write down what we want that reprogramming to look like. All right, guys. All right. So let me go to the next slide. And then we will head out of this thing. Oh, so I'll give you guys really quickly. If you don't mind staying for a little bit longer, Liz, do you guys have any questions or comments that you would like to ask myself or Liz while you have us here? I'm gonna leave that open for about 3 to 5 minutes. If I don't see too many comments coming in, we're gonna head on out for tonight. So any questions or comments or anything that you want us to talk about and in reference to balance, let me know, hit us in the comments and we'll have a brief discussion about it. But if not, like I said, it's almost 10:30. I don't know what time it is, but I know it's almost past. I know it's past my bedtime. I'm usually asleep by 8:30. So that part. And I know it's delayed. So I am going to
it's 10 o'clock.
Oh,
right now. Bedtime for you. I'm still over here on the West Coast. It's 7 o'clock for me, but almost
right. the sun is still shining for you. Yeah, I'm definitely going to sleep as soon as I get off of here.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any questions rolling in. I'm not seeing anything like that. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for being a part of this and listening to us chop it up about whatever we were chopping it up about for well over an hour. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Liz, if you have anything to say or add, go for it.
Yes, I want to say thank you for hosting and doing this and being a fantastic MC and host and representative and being, and I absolutely love your energy and I look forward to these pop-ups. I think they're fantastic. I can't wait to watch the next time.
Yay, thank you so much, Ashe. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time and energy. And with that being said, you guys go motherfucking get it, because if you don't, someone else will. Y'all have a blessed day and we will see you at the next pop-up.